Let's look at the issue of power bills today with the perspective of the Chief Executive of the Clean Energy Investor Group, Richie Merzian. Richie, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Your organisation represents a whole heap of investors in clean energy, also in gas. But tell me, why is there not a reduction in power bills as promised by the federal government? I know you didn't make the promise, but they said we'd get 275 off power bills by this year. It hasn't happened.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're still heavily reliant on coal and gas for our power. And that's what's setting the price. If gas prices go up globally, they feed into gas prices locally. We are a price taker, not a price maker. Despite having lots of gas, we pay international prices for local gas, and that's what sets the power prices. And when they go up, power prices go up. What our researchers showed at the Clean Energy Investor Group is that the more renewables you get on the grid, the more downward pressure you feel. If we can tip that scale, we can get majority renewables, we will all come out better. And our research shows that if we didn't have renewables last year, we would all be paying up to $417 more in our power bills. So renewables are putting downward pressure, but it's gas and coal that are setting that price, and that's why the price keeps going up.
Because at any point in time, it's the price of the most expensive input into the grid that sets the price across the board.
That's exactly right.
So the last contribution, if it's gas or coal, that's what's going to set the price. But why then, with increased renewables, are we not seeing a more sustainable reduction in price?
Yeah.
Is it all about the ageing systems?
That's definitely one. Look, we just don't have enough renewables on the grid yet. The more renewables we have, the cheaper the power price will get. But you're right, that last bit of energy that you require, that's the price that you ultimately pay. That's being met by expensive gas right now.
But we need that gas, don't we, to provide the stability of the system, because renewables aren't always available. And even if you increase or double the amount of renewables, you can have days at a time where there isn't wind and sunshine.
We need to build a grid that can actually provide that energy continuously. So we need dispatchable energy to complement the variable renewable energy. That's the role of storage, of big batteries, and we're seeing a lot more batteries come on the grid, and we need more of that storage. We need more pumped hydro as well. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we need to phase out fossil fuels from the grid. We all know that's the direction for net zero, and we've got enough gas on the grid to back in renewables right now. What we don't have is we have enough renewables and storage come online at speed and scale to give us the real power price cuts that we want.
But your numbers, your report suggests without that renewable component, we would be paying even more than we are now. So how did they get it all so wrong in terms of their forecast?
I mean, I think, and Labor will speak to this and their own modelling, but there were international shocks. I mean, at the end of the day, the east coast of Australia exports its gas. By doing that, we now pay international prices for local gas, and that gas price sets the power price. And so when international markets go up, so do local prices. That's the unfortunate issue of gas. Renewables, by contrast, that additional bit of energy that you get from renewables is pretty much free. The cost of renewables comes from the capital to build those renewables in the first place. That's where it's expensive.
But you've also got to invest in the transmission.
Totally.
And so that has also been...
That's also been a real problem.
Spike in the prices.
A problem as well, because we're not seeing the transmission being built on time and to cost as well. All this uncertainty means that you pay more when you're originally building because it's a riskier grid altogether. There's an opportunity to redesign the entire grid. The federal government has a panel right now. We're doing some research at the Clean Energy Investor Group. We'll put out in April. So we can reinvent the grid to provide that better certainty. But what we do know from our research is that last year, renewables helped push down the prices. If we didn't have them on the grid, we'd be paying $400 more.
But it's fair to say that for the foreseeable future, gas is needed as a peaking capacity because we don't have the battery storage or hydro storage available for those days when the sun is not shining and the wind is not blowing.
Gas will play a role in the grid. That's not in question. And to some extent, like clean energy complements gas right now. But we don't need to build any more gas power stations on the grid. Really, it's just sweating the existing assets out whilst we build more renewables and more storage. And that's what will ultimately bring the price down. If we rely on gas, we're going to keep paying high prices. If we get more renewables, we'll get less.
Clean Energy Investor Group Chief Richie Merzian, thanks for your time.
Pleasure.